What if I told you that every tap of your screen, every scroll, every click is more than just a casual interaction with technology, that it is, in fact, a spiritual transaction, that the devices we cradle in our hands are not simply tools of convenience, but gateways shaping the very fabric of our consciousness? For thousands of years, mystics, sages, and visionaries warned of the powers that could either liberate or enslave the human spirit. They spoke of instruments that would amplify thought, entangle the soul, and blur the line between reality and illusion. Many dismissed these warnings as mere allegory. Yet, here we are, living in a time where technology doesn't just serve us, it consumes us. Tonight, we step beyond the glowing screens and humming wires to explore their hidden essence, the real spiritual consequences of modern technology. We will journey through ancient prophecies and forgotten wisdom, uncovering why this knowledge was concealed for centuries and what it means for us now. Because the question is not simply what technology is doing to our world, but what it is doing to us, to our soul, our attention, and our destiny. Are you ready to see the unseen? Long before the first circuit sparked with electricity, the ancients spoke of energies and forces that mirror what we now call technology. The Vedic sages of India described Maya, the great illusion that bends perception away from truth. The Gnostics warned of archons, unseen forces that manipulate human thought, creating false realities that keep the soul bound to matter. Even the Mayans inscribed glyphs that hinted at cycles of humanity, where knowledge of divine fire, technology, would either elevate or enslave entire civilizations. To them, tools were never just tools. Every creation was an extension of consciousness, a mirror of the mind that shaped the destiny of its wielder. The philosopher Plato recounted the myth of Theuth, the Egyptian god who brought writing to mankind. The king who heard this gift did not rejoice. Instead, he warned that writing would not make men wise but forgetful, that they would trade living memory for dead symbols. How eerily this echoes today, where we outsource not only our memory, but even our capacity for contemplation to machines. The ancients understood something we have forgotten, that every external invention alters the inner world. When humanity discovered fire, it did not only cook food, it expanded our very perception of time, for now the night could be extended. When the printing press emerged, it did not merely copy words, it reshaped the collective mind, birthing revolutions and religions. The esoteric truth buried in all these transitions is simple. Every technological leap comes with a spiritual cost. Why then has this wisdom been hidden? Because those who rule the outer tools also rule the inner realms. In secret societies, fragments of this knowledge were preserved, warnings inscribed in symbols, whispers encoded in ritual. They knew that unchecked tools become idols, and idols become prisons. The mystics did not reject advancement, they simply understood that technology without consciousness becomes sorcery, an enchantment that binds rather than liberates. Modern culture, intoxicated with progress, has buried these teachings under the glitter of convenience. We rarely pause to ask what ancient teachers asked. What does this device take from me as much as what it gives? In neglecting this question, we surrender the soul to subtle forces, trading presence for speed, wisdom for data, and truth for simulation. We are not the first civilization to face this trial. Atlantis, as told in esoteric traditions, fell not merely through natural disaster, but through the misuse of great technological powers, machines that could channel cosmic energy, yet led to arrogance and imbalance. So too, in our age, we stand at a threshold where technology is not neutral. It is an initiatory force. The question is whether we master it, or whether it masters us. Imagine for a moment that every piece of technology you touch is not just a machine but a mirror, reflecting back to you your own state of consciousness. The smartphone is not merely a phone, it is an altar of attention. Each notification is like a bell, summoning your spirit, not to the sacred but to the trivial. The algorithms that shape your feed act as modern oracles, predicting your desires before you even name them. Yet, in doing so, they quietly shape what you are allowed to desire. This is the first spiritual consequence. Technology feeds on attention. Ancient mystics taught that attention is the currency of the soul. What you give attention to, you nourish with your life force. In meditation, attention could be used to ascend toward higher realms of awareness. But when scattered across endless screens, it becomes fractured, drained, dispersed, like a river redirected into countless tiny streams until it dries out. The second consequence is subtler, the distortion of time. Modern devices stretch and compress our experience of time, keeping us in a perpetual present, yet not the eternal now that mystics revered, but a shallow one, emptied of depth. Hours vanish in the blink of an eye, not through presence but through trance. In ancient initiations, seekers underwent rituals to break the illusion of time and glimpse eternity. Today, technology does this inversion, dissolving our sense of time not into eternity, but into amnesia. And then comes the third, identity. In old esoteric traditions, the self was seen as layered: body, mind, soul, spirit. Each layer required discipline to harmonize. But technology has crafted a new body for us, the digital self, a shadow double that lives online. We polish it, protect it, even worship it. Yet every moment spent tending to this phantom identity pulls us further from the essence of who we truly are. These are not accidents. They are the spiritual architecture hidden within the machinery of progress. Technology amplifies what we are, but it also consumes what we neglect. Like fire, it can warm or burn. The deeper truth is that these tools do not only extend our power, they reshape the very vessel of the soul. Here is the paradox. Technology is neither inherently evil nor inherently divine. It is an amplifier. It magnifies the consciousness of its user. To the awakened, it can be a tool of immense liberation, connecting minds, spreading wisdom across continents, even serving as a mirror for self-realization. But to the unawakened, it becomes an invisible chain, binding them in distraction, comparison, and dependency. This duality has always been present. In Hermetic philosophy, all things hold polarity: light and dark, creation and destruction, ascent and descent. Technology is no exception. The same screen that numbs millions with endless noise can also broadcast a single truth that awakens a soul. The same virtual reality that entraps the senses could also one day serve as a mystical training ground, a simulated temple where seekers rehearse enlightenment. The power itself is neutral. The danger lies in unconscious use. There is also a hidden myth that technology makes us more connected. In truth, it can make us more divided than ever. Ancient spiritual teachings emphasized direct presence, eye to eye, heart to heart, spirit to spirit. Yet now our connections are filtered through glass and code. This creates a paradoxical loneliness, the illusion of closeness, while the soul quietly hungers for true communion. Another misconception is that technology evolves outside of us, as if it were an external force. But esoteric traditions reveal a subtler truth. Every invention arises first as an idea within the collective psyche. Technology is the externalization of inner archetypes. The network of the internet reflects the ancient concept of Indra's net, where each jewel reflects all others, symbolizing the interconnectedness of being. Artificial intelligence echoes the ancient dream of the golem, or the homunculus, the attempt to breathe consciousness into matter. The question then is not whether technology is good or bad, but whether we remain conscious architects of its use, or unconscious slaves to its momentum. Forgotten civilizations fell when their tools outgrew their wisdom. Ours is no different. The consequences are spiritual, not because technology has a soul, but because we do, and everything we create reverberates back into us. If technology is indeed a mirror and amplifier of consciousness, then the path forward is not rejection, but mastery. The ancients never taught escape from the world. They taught dominion over the self within the world. In the same way, our task is not to flee from technology, but to wield it with awareness, to turn what could enslave us into an instrument of awakening. The first practice is sacred attention. Each time you pick up your device, pause. Take a single conscious breath before you touch the screen. In that breath, ask yourself, am I choosing, or am I being summoned? This simple act transforms a reflex into a ritual, reminding you that attention is not free. It is the offering of your life force. The second is the discipline of digital fasting. Just as ancient seekers fasted from food to purify body and mind, we must fast from screens to purify the spirit. Choose 1 hour, 1 day, or even a single evening each week to step away from all devices. Use that time to reconnect with silence, nature, or direct human presence. This creates space for the soul to breathe, unchained from artificial currents. Third, practice conscious creation over consumption. In esoteric wisdom, energy that flows outward in creation multiplies, while energy hoarded in passive absorption stagnates. Ask yourself, am I using technology to create, to share, to uplift, or merely to consume endlessly? The more you create, whether words, art, ideas, the more technology becomes your servant, not your master. Finally, cultivate the ritual of boundaries. Just as ancient temples were entered through sacred thresholds, so too should your digital spaces have defined limits. No devices in the first moments of waking, when the soul is closest to the dream world. No devices in the final moments before sleep, when consciousness drifts back into the unseen. Guard these thresholds, for they are the portals where your spirit is most impressionable. Through these practices, you reclaim sovereignty. You remind yourself that technology is not a cage, but clay, waiting to be shaped by your will. The difference lies not in the device itself, but in the consciousness with which you engage it. Throughout history, humanity has stood at crossroads where the tools it created threatened to outpace the wisdom required to use them. Fire, writing, printing, each brought miracles, and each carried shadows. Today, with technology pulsing in our hands and woven into the very air we breathe, we face the same timeless trial. We have seen how every click, every scroll, is not just convenience but a subtle exchange of life force. How technology feeds upon attention, the sacred currency of the soul. How it reshapes time, bending our perception into shallow loops. How it births shadow selves, digital phantoms that we polish while the deeper essence is neglected. And yet, we've also glimpsed the paradox, that the very same tools can liberate, connect, and expand consciousness if wielded with awareness. The ancients left us warnings not to reject progress, but to remember the invisible laws beneath it. They knew that every tool is a double-edged sword. It can carve the path of enlightenment, or it can sever us from our essence. The real question is not whether technology is spiritual or not. It already is, because you are. What you touch, you charge with your spirit. What you build, builds you in return. So I leave you with this reflection. Are you the master of your tools, or the servant of your idols? Do you enter your device as a conscious seeker, or do you bow to it as a silent god? The answer to this will decide whether technology becomes your ladder to higher realms, or your chain in the unseen prison of illusion. The choice has always been yours, and it remains so here and now. If this exploration stirred something within you, share your reflections below. Let us weave a network not of distraction, but of awakening, where each voice becomes a jewel in Indra's net, reflecting truth into the digital ether. And remember, your attention is sacred. Guard it well.